Okay, so recording. Who wants to start us out with a claim? Okay.
I said, yes, genetic engineering should be allowed on humans, but only if it's not harmful. It's like the person who is getting genetically engineered agrees to it and it becomes available to all people.
Little louder. People have a tendency to fade out as they continue to talk, so little louder.
I believe, yes, genetic engineering should be allowed on humans, but only if it's not harmful. The person who's being genetically engineered agrees to it and it becomes available to all people.
I disagree because I don't think genetic engineering should be allowed on humans because it's not much is known about it. Bad things could happen if you were to test on humans.
But we never know because it could be like the biggest medical
I can't hear you. And I'm right here. You're talking to Mrs. Ballack.
Because it could be the next biggest medical advancement if we choose to keep researching it, and the only way we can research its effect on humans is by actually using it.
And like how you said, it has to be available to all people. I don't think that that would work because of the money issue. Because the rich people would always get it, and poor people would never get it. Like it could be available to them, but they won't be able to pay for it, so it's be the same people getting it.
No, but I meant when making it available, making it more affordable for all people. So it's more it's more affordable. Like if you needed to have something done at a hospital, sort of like that situation.
I agree with Cadence because if it's more affordable, if it can be more affordable to them, then that'd be good. And yeah,
it would get rid of the.
But I don't think that it would be able to get it yet.
Because in Genes and Identity, it said that it would. One of the cons for having genetic engineering is that it would build more differences within the statuses, but if it's made available to all, then that wouldn't be a con as much anymore.
But I feel like how all things start out is the rich people get to pay for it first, and once it becomes more common, then things get cheaper. So they'll already be ahead. And how you said didn't you say there's no risk or something or no problems?
I said that there's too much unknown.
Yeah.
Because in the pros and cons article, it said reaching a conclusion will require more research. And I think that you need that research before you can actually act upon it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that genetic engineering should be allowed on humans because if we start experimenting with humans before we know about the genetic technology, then it could lead to problems.
But what if it's used for good? Because it said in some of the articles that or this Britannica one that I found medical research is it works we're already using it for something like that, and but we're not using it to the advantage of your brain and stuff. It's more to cure stuff.
But like Chantel said, we don't know the effects it could have, and it could have a bad effect on us, how Belgian blue cattle keep growing, so they often have to deliver through C-sections since they can't deliver.
Yeah, and I agree with that. That's probably not because that wasn't really helping a lot with that much. But if you're gonna die and they use it cure something that you have, then you have it instead of dying. So either way, you know what I mean. If they were to if something were to go wrong, it'd be a little chance of something. To live.
What
do you think, Peyton?
Louder.
What do you think, Peyton? Okay. Yep. Then you can stop recording.
We're just gonna listen to every time I speak.
Okay. Can you try and give your opinion about human genetic engineering? So your claim is about GMOs. But what do you think about changing genes on humans?
About changing the genes on humans. Would that be a good thing or a bad thing? Wait, do you have an opinion?
I don't think it's right.
Can you speak louder?
I don't think it's right. I think it's changing the person to be able to do stuff and like their personality.
What if it's used for medical purposes, like to prevent adult onset diseases? Would the lesser of two evils be changing your personality or getting a disease that could possibly shorten your lifespan?
I don't like, but at the same time, even though you are helping like with a disability, there are people that just can't afford to do that stuff. And even if you were to be genetically modified, that there comes with civil problems in society because people will think that they're better than the rest, and they kind of will change how they feel and kind of be like a different kind of like segregation almost between the people who are genetically modified and the people who
But
aren't.
to make it
That's like
available.
to like for that. Like so my thing was like it should be allowed my claim was it should be allowed on humans and animals for like health benefits. And my like one of my reasons was so like mosquitoes, they like injected them with this SML which like blocks like this gland in them from like contracting the malaria into like the mosquito. So when the mosquito when it bites you, it can't give you like it don't have it in the first place. So like that's one thing that we've like genetically modified already, and like it's already helping.
But going back to what Paige said, like it changes your personality. Not only could it change your personality, but it could change like what you look like. So then, if you're gonna keep doing that, then like what's human anymore?
Like
Natural.
Yeah, like I think it might have been The Roar or something. There was some book where it was like there were people that were like cyborgs, stuff that had like disformities or stuff like that, and they were like segregated from the rest of the people because everybody thought that they were better than the ones with disformities.
That goes back to like to be used for medical purposes only.
It's not
Like because it could be just limited to only being used for medical purposes, and there'd always be like people going behind the laws and stuff, but that'd be less than if it were legal for everybody to do.
And like I was like looking to so like the sickle cell anemia for like bone marrow or whatever, they can like inject like genetically modified stuff in, and it will like cure the disease instead of having to like find a match donor. Like you can put it in and it will get rid of the sickle cell. Like it's not like when they're like still like an embryo. It's like once they're already like living and like they have it.
Going back to Paige's thing though, how much does having that disease or having any sort of difference contribute to what that person was meant to become? Because when I look back on my personality, my body type, the situations I was going through in middle school made me become who I am today. So perhaps someone has a disease, perhaps someone has a disability, and it's something to overcome. It will make them who they're meant to be anyway. And if they don't have that, something to consider that I thought of when Paige talked about her point of view.
Is that an addition?
Speak up.
Is that an addition?
Oh, you don't have to include me.
Okay.
Thank you. That's fine.
So, I guess going back to Chantel's part, like how much, like, what would be human anymore? I guess the bigger question would be like, how much is too much? What how much can you modify without going too far? Because if you modify one gene, we know that it's linked to other genes. Like with the mice in, I think it was Genes and Identity, when they tried to make them have more muscles and be stronger, but that also increased their sensitivity to pain. So
That was
that was Genes and Identity, right?
yes, you're right.
Yeah, it
just
was Genes and Identity.
different trait.
Different trait
It improves their memory.
and their memory, but it muscle weakness and sensitivity to pain.
So the muscle weakness was a different test. Yep. And so the situation you're talking about, can you find it?
Increased sensitivity.
Yeah.
So what two traits got changed?
Their memory and their
Mhm.
sensitivity to pain.
Yes.
So I guess like if you keep changing more and more genes to cure diseases, you're also going to be changing other things. Like let's say you're trying to cure an adult onset disease like Tay-Sachs, right? And you accidentally mess with something like you can no longer produce offspring. Because if you mess with something like that, you're going to mess with another gene. Not always, but it is a possibility. It's something we don't know yet.
What is the lesser
Yeah,
of two
so we need
evils?
more
Then
research.
that's the question.
And like what I think too a lot is like if there's like something that like we can cure without doing the genetically modified stuff, then like yeah, we should like cure not doing like genetically modifying it because like we don't want everything to be genetically modified. But like if there's like nothing else we can do and it's like last resort, I kind of like agree with it, kind of like that they should be able to do it.
Like if like in cancer, if it was just like all the you try to do everything you can and it doesn't help, then at that point would it be better to just let them keep suffering and keep going through failed?
Or like even with like the bone marrow transplant, like what if they can't find a match like quick enough, and like it's too late, you know, and like maybe you could have just like do that like instead of like that.
Lauren, you haven't talked in a while. Do you have anything you want to say about this?
I agree with I think there should be more research done about it before it starts if it happens, there should be more research done on it because we don't know a lot of the effects.
But we wouldn't know the effects of it on humans unless we actually try it on humans more. At a higher rate.
And that's what I think too is that like we need to start using it a little bit for like them health, like for like last chance like health things, because like then we will find out more. But like we can't just like be giving it out like here try this like we should be doing this and doing this to people because like we need to like control it. And I feel like the government needs to put like a big thing on it and make sure it's used for the right thing. And like only like certain places can do it.
Yeah, only in the most extreme cases.
So I can't give my baby super muscles.
No.
Unless it helps them
Run faster, jump higher, live longer, make more money.
Live a better, stronger, not like a better and healthy life.
Right.
Like
that's what I'm saying.
But that's
but it would affect humans in the long run.
But if they didn't get that, would they have a lesser quality of life than if they did?
Definitely have a better quality of life, right?
Like if they had like a lesser quality of life being they'd suffer a lot more
and they would like die.
Yeah.
It depends on where they grow up at. What conditions.
What if I can afford it? What's wrong with it?
But so if you can, even though you afford it, and you let's say you do genetically modify one of your kids, that trait can be passed on, and then it's gonna keep passing on, and you're gonna create like another kind of species. And we don't, not to be sound stupid, but we don't want another species of human.
We don't need another species.
We're kind of already messed up in the first place.
You're gonna create an elite race of humans,
and then that will cause civil issues.
Do we want to change the claim?
Yeah. Does anyone have a question? Like,
I think genetic engineering should be allowed on other organisms, not humans, though.
Not humans.
I disagree with that a little bit. Like for certain things, but it needs to be controlled. But like if we're like out there like genetically engineering like lions and stuff all the time, like that's not.
Not necessarily like other like more like plants.
Yeah.
So not like other animals.
Like I think plants would be like as long as like we control it and we like how we were saying like the BT cotton.
We have to keep like outcrossing. We have to keep that under control because we can't let genetically modified organisms take over the natural organism that it once was.
I think that it should only be allowed if it's absolutely like necessary. Right? Like
Well,
if you didn't, then it would, because if you do to some organisms, it helps like create larger yields, so it helps like global hunger and all that, and it's cheaper, which was said in the pros and cons article. So that would be like necessary to help other humans, and it wouldn't be sort of selfish, I guess.
Well, like not talking about like just like other world like poorer countries. Like what about like our area or like because we already have genetically modified organisms like out in the fields already like around here like, and I think like it's not like bad. Besides like we need to keep it away from the farms that are like organic and like not GMO or stuff. So like they're not like pollinating it, and then we're like we don't have any more of them seeds left. Like
because there are people that like I know people out there are going to refuse to eat genetically modified organisms because they're probably going to be more like I don't know what the word is, just more organic kind of people. Like let's just say they won't eat meat and they won't eat anything from an animal. They'll just eat plants. But if we genetically mess with them, I think that's gonna affect like what they want to do. So you can't get rid of the organic version.
Can we all afford to eat non-GMO food?
no, because non-GMO food is more expensive.
It is.
Way more expensive.
Because it's like
and it's a lot more like work too, like for the farmers and like everything with it. It adds up.
Because the genetic engineering sort of makes them easier to handle, and you don't have to like watch
and like
as much.
more like with that too, they don't spray like pesticides and stuff on it, so they're not as getting as good as the quality of a crop or like, and they have like a lot of machine problems in too because you like get stuck with the weeds and it'll go through it, and like sometimes I feel like it's not as good as quality. Like when I was down in Florida, like there was like this organic thing that I tried, and it just doesn't like taste the same because like they don't. It's not like raised with all like I don't even know how to explain it. Like
It's not
nutrients
enhanced.
and yeah, or like even like they don't like spray anything on it like until like the weeds are done.
Because wasn't there like an article that said GMOs can enhance flavor of
Pros and cons.
Okay, I need some more people to contribute. What can you say? What's your opinion?
I think we should have GMO foods.
Can you give us one reason why?
I think we should grow GMO foods because they're resistant to diseases. The next reason, I think we should grow GMO foods because it can increase nutrients.
Good, clear voice. Thank you.
I agree with that. Like everything with that, and like we have no evidence of like doing bad things. Like I get people have like other things and they think that it may be because we don't know a whole lot, but like I don't see anything really different like in how like everything has changed.
Peyton, what's a con to growing GMO foods?
Little known long-term effects.
What do they suspect might be unsafe about GMOs?
Cancer.
Okay. So Paige, What do they say about cancer in the article?
Some researchers believe that eating GMO foods can contribute to the development of cancer. They argue that because the disease is caused by mutations in DNA, it is dangerous to introduce new genes into the body.
Why don't you ask someone what they think about that?
Kirsten, what do you think about it?
You may need to repeat the last part of that or paraphrase it.
What do you think about like people eating GMOs?
It's better because it's cheaper.
No, what do you think about your cancer could be a con?
Like what I just read?
Yeah, ask her what she thinks about what you just read, but don't reread it, paraphrase it.
What do you think? Like, do you think there are bad things that cause in it for cancer? Yes.
What do you think? How do you think?
Why?
So your claim is that GMOs are good. Yeah. And you just told us that if we're eating man-made mutations, they could cause mutations in us. Is that safe? Is it still worth thinking GMOs are good? No. Okay.
I also have the outcrossing refers to the risk of genes from certain GMO plants mixing with those of conventional crops.
Yeah.
Which we need to watch that. I agree with that. But I don't see there being a problem with that in the United States as much, because usually they don't reuse the seeds anyways. But they might have to find new because they buy them every year. They just buy them organic or non-GMO.
So why would it? Couldn't they make the genetically modified plants so they don't fertilize and reproduce?
Mm-hmm. That's what they do, and that's why they buy new ones every year, because they can't make seed corn. They can't make seed soy because it's genetically modified to not do that, to protect their to protect their own their technology.
Because once you figure that out, it's a big deal.
You don't want to share.
Mm-hmm.
So if they can take the plant that they grew with their seed and replant it the next year, then they don't have to buy the seed again.
Mm-hmm. Which, I'm saying, in the U.S., that's not as big as a deal. For the non-GMO people, because they usually don't replant anyway, their seeds. Because they, if, you're planting corn, then you're going to feed it to, the cows that are also non-GMO.
Okay. Gotcha.
So, would the not fertilizing be, prevent outcrossing?
No. They may, and this is what happened with the cotton, I think, is it fertilized the non-GMO, and then the non-GMO could not reproduce anymore. So, it can fertilize things, but it can't grow new crops. It destroyed their crops.
There's no way to prevent the fertilizing?
Yeah, if it's pollinated by wind.
Mm-hmm. But can you make it so, the GMO plants don't, produce the fertilizing agent?
Maybe. Yeah. All right. More from you two?
I think that they should be used, but they could be harmful to us because of a whole lot of stuff. Allergic reactions.
So do you stand on the side that is pro-GMO, or?
I feel like
don't want to sway
we
too
should
much to
use them
either
because
side.
they can be good, but also there's a lot of negatives to it.
So pretty much be careful with how we use it.
Yeah, we should have more research on how they affect humans, but
Well, and that's like the thing too, is there's like, we could say that, oh, it causes cancer, but like, there's lots of things out there that cause cancer, so how can we prove that like, they didn't get it from something else, and it's from like, say, okay, this GMO person got cancer, and this person who like was organic and like non-GMO didn't get cancer. Well, we can be like, well, maybe they were exposed to something else that's not just the GMO.
Maybe there's more
So
genetic
like,
in them that just makes them more viable to the cancer.
I feel like one of the only ways you could be able to prove that it wasn't the GMOs that caused cancer would be like having somebody like stay in like a same environment as somebody who does eat GMOs,
and they have to have the same
they just
genes,
have to do
the same everything.
And that's against.
And like, I don't know how they would do that and be like, okay, you have to do the exact, because they have to do the exact same thing, because you never know, like, and it has to be like, what if this room has more radiation than this room or something?
And they'd have to be exposed to the same people. It would just be really hard to conduct an even interview.
Yeah, because someone could just be like, hey, this was different. Was that the cause? Or was it the GMO?
What kind of cancer could be caused by GMOs? What kind of cancer do they think it is?
Well, like, I think it's because of the. I just think it's because they think that is because of the mutations, or like because cancer is a mutation, and like here you're kind of like changing it, and like that kind of, it's like the same thing, and they're thinking like, oh, when you put this in your body, it's causing the mutations, but you have like different opinions.
Could I look that? In the article, they said that they argue because the disease is caused by mutations in DNA, it is dangerous to introduce new genes into the body. But the American Cancer Society says that there's no evidence for this, but they note that no evidence of harm is not the same as proof of safety, and that reaching a conclusion will require more research.
I have a feeling that all of these articles are just reaching a conclusion will require more research.
It's supposed to be opinion.
Yeah.
Well, and like what she just read, like it was like they are dangerous. Like, okay, that's kind of your own opinion, because like some people might say, oh yeah, they're not dangerous at all. Like that's pretty much an opinion.
Okay. I think we need to stop. How did that go?
I got a lot of stuff done.
I missed a lot.
You missed a lot. Okay. Okay. Aside from that, how did that go in understanding what other people were saying? Like, how did that go in learning something from someone else?
It's just really confusing because like we know little, or like we know very.
We don't know anything, so there's not a lot of evidence.
I didn't really learn anything.
But it kind of opens your mind to thinking about some of this, right?
Yeah, it just kind of gives you two different perspectives. But it gives you the same information.
All
so
it really,
it's just
yeah,
like
all
if
it
you
really
really thought
think
about
of
it.
is it just makes me reach the same conclusion that we need to figure out more about it before we use it. Before we use too much of it.
Because like when we were debating, I was kind of understanding what Cadence and Haley were coming to about diseases and how they want to do it, but I also still was standing by my belief that you should do it.
Because like that's my thing too. It's like, yeah, we can use it for like these health things, but like what if they have kids and then that has it and then they have kids? So like it's always gonna be there. So like maybe there needs to be like a restriction or something, like not to like put it on there, but like if you have this done, like, you shouldn't like have kids or something. Like
speciation. Like,
but that would cause a whole nother.
Oh yeah! Wow. Just Oh, I lost it again. I need you to staple these, and then I want to go through the reflection questions with you, which I should have done before we did this, but you'll be okay.
Stop this.